And I gave you permission to record
Yes.
if you need to. So I've hit record as well. Go
Okay.
ahead and get started.
Yeah, I just wanted to ask Chelsea a couple questions about the Olympics and how she feels going into training camp this week and some of the things she's looking forward to.
I'm excited, one, to be selected to be on this Olympic team. If you think about it, one of 12, it's a great honor. There's a lot of players that were told no. So I'm extremely blessed and happy to be on this Olympic team. I'm excited to get with this group of women. We're gonna have fun and achieve greatness while having fun with each other. And the goal is to bring home that gold medal. And everything we do, starting with training camp, is going towards that goal. I'm excited to be joining them. I'm happy to be able to have a couple of games here in Vegas, so family and our fans here can watch and cheer us on, because they're not going to be able to do that in Tokyo. So I'm just excited and ready to get started when the time comes.
In these last few years training with the team, at what point did you finally realize that this could become a reality for you?
When they gave me the call and letting me know that, you're one of the people that's selected to be able to go on our tour, when we were playing against colleges and training throughout the year before COVID hit. So I was excited for that opportunity. This has been a goal of mine. It's been a dream, and it's like the top of the top, the pinnacle. So I was excited from there on to be able to compete, to be one of the 12 for this Olympic roster.
And what are you looking forward to as far as playing with some of the players like Diana and Sue Bird, and at this state of their careers? What do you look to learn from them?
Their accolades, speak for themselves. They've achieved gold medals. So I'm excited to go on this experience with them, because it could be their last time going for the medal. You don't know. So you can't take it for granted in these moments, to be able to stand there and be like, okay, I'm an Olympian with these group of women. So I'm just excited to get started and start competing and going towards that goal.
Okay, that should be good. Thank you.
No problem.
Chelsea, what are the challenges associated with playing for Team USA when you do have such a short turnaround time for when you have to compete? How easy is it to fall into the rhythms again and get back into each other's tendencies?
I think one of the challenges is just knowing each other. We don't have that time to be able to be like, I like it on this side, let's go through it, and let's go through a bunch of practices before we have games, to be able to rep those plays, rep those defensive strategies. So I think learning on the fly throughout games, or learning just through conversation and film, is going to be huge and important. So that's kind of challenging, to not be able to play with them and play with my teammates for the USA team all of the time. There's a lot of people and a lot of new faces as well for these Olympic Games. And so it's going to be able to incorporate in what we're good at, but also knowing each other's strengths at a quick pace. So those conversations are going to happen quite often.
Tough result last night, huge comeback in the third. I think it was an 18-0 run, but didn't quite have it once overtime hit. Asia talks a lot about a 24-hour rule, that once 24 hours is done, you're focused on the next game. So what do you take away from a game like last night? And then what do you look towards for Minnesota on Friday?
Executing on both ends, executing our game plan, not letting, BG or Skylar go off on certain moments, to be able to make it a little bit more difficult for them. And that's a team effort. It's not all individual. Can we be better defenders in individual moments? Of course. But being able to be on the same page defensively, I think, is important in executing our game plan. And the same offensively, there were some times where we took shots, or we didn't make the right feed, or some key turnovers, or moments where we could have pushed. You can always get better, but I think executing down the stretch and what we wanted down the stretch doesn't necessarily mean overtime, but there was plays in the third quarter that affected the swing of the game later on. So just being better in those moments.
Anne-Marie?
Jiggy, can you see my question in the chat? Since I'm in the gym, I don't want to have a loud voice.
You sound fine, but I can go ahead and read it. Bill talked about players rising up and taking their own shots rather than playing within the rhythm of the offense the other night. How do you, as one of the team leaders, lead the team away from that, whether it's in practice or in the actual game situations?
I think in timeouts or in moments where we have time to do a quick conversation, timeouts or free throw opportunities or in a dead ball, to be able to know we're getting the best shot possible. Getting the ball in my hands or somebody's hands to be able to make a great decision, making sure we're flowing off of each other. And it also comes with like holding each other accountable and knowing like, hey, we need a good shot on goal. It doesn't necessarily need to mean that it needs to be this exact person all the time. There's times in the game where you target somebody, but being able to have a flow so we have a good shot on goal.
Carolyn?
Chelsea, third quarter was a great comeback, great energy. What needs to be done to sustain that, to finish out a game?
Both our defensive and offensive execution. I think there were times where, we would have a moment where we would get over the hump and then a bad possession, or defensively and offensively, like we would lose our assignment. Our spacing wasn't good, so we weren't able to get a cleaner shot at the goal. And so I think cleaning up those execution moments on both ends will allow us to have better results on both ends as well. So if we get that defensive stop, we're able to run transition and get an easy bucket. If we take the right shot offensively, they're not beating us in transition and BG's having an early seal or they have a kick out to a shooter. And then we're playing catch up a little bit. And so I think in those moments is when we got to be better.
How much did that take out of you guys in having to expend that much energy in that third quarter?
I think we were fine. I felt like my teammates felt good. I think they're in good shape to be able to do that. So, yeah, it's an energy thing, but I think we were in the moment that we needed to win this game. So I think that was out the window. We were fine.
And you're familiar with Kia Stokes. She talks about you. I played some overseas, and she was having to come in and defend Brittany Griner. She will have to do probably the same thing coming in against Sylvia Fowles. Can you talk about her defense?
Her length and her activity and being able to be in the right spots, I think is important. And she's been able to do that when I play with her overseas. And so that's the same Kia Stokes that I'm looking for when we play tomorrow night, and be able to have, that length on Sylvia, bother her, body her, not afraid of the moment, and also crash the boards and be able to get rebounds. But she can finish at the rim too, so I'm challenging her to do that as well.
Great, thank you.
No problem.
Thank you very much, Chelsea. We will let you go. And if you
Thank
happen to
you.
see the aforementioned Kia Stokes floating around the court, if you could send her this direction.
Gotcha.
Thank you.